Welcome back, everyone. This is Airphone playing not Magical Bringer Korona the movie, but Magical Bringer Korona the first game. As we're about to face Dark Korona as player in Korona 2, I thought I'd come back and showcase the battle against Dark Korona in the original. As I've mentioned in passing, the combat system is somewhat different here. One difference is that there is no such thing as a good hit, bad hit, critical. It's either hit or miss, unless you have reflect, in which case reflect needs to be pretty accurate. But for the most part, either your attack connects or it doesn't. You block a hit or you don't. You get an initiative chip or you fail to. So there's that right away. Initiative round also feels like it takes longer to get through. But otherwise, Dark Korona here is saying basically, I'll show you which of us deserves to be Korona Sakura. As usual, normal rounds, pretty unremarkable. However, here, in this particular battle, because basically what happened to bring out Dark Korona, as I mentioned in the recap of the Korona 1 story, is Cromm tricks Korona into drinking a deadly poison. She's on the brink of death, and Osiris, out of desperation, basically gets her dark side out. Who then beats up Cromm, does unspeakable things to her. Korona is left trapped inside with the last remaining dregs of Osiris' power. He basically entrusts with that, lets her break out, but she's running on fumes here, so you get no special attacks at all. And that makes this especially brutal, especially if you foul up like that. But although Korona does not get special attacks, Dark Korona does. And Dark Korona's special attacks, well, she only has the one, but it is absolutely brutal. Especially if your magical girl level is, I think it's over 55, which it probably will be at this point. So we're going to see that, and it's going to be awful. We'll see if I can make it through that or not. If not, I'll use Korona Survivor. That will probably be enough to put it below 55, which will make it much more manageable. But yeah, Korona Genocide. Yeah, it's basically Noel's normal attack, except everything is sped up. And I have enough trouble with Noel's normal attack already. You take that, make everything nearly twice as fast. It's bad. They do a thing in the code where there's a frame delay variable, where it's how much wait there is before the positions of everything update. And I think what it was is normally it's 45. This special attack drops it down to 25, which is a little over half. Which, again, means things are going almost twice as fast as usual. It's kind of like being at 60 frames per second instead of 30. And, yeah, yeah. And because of how much health she has and how special round determination works, I believe you're going to see that a minimum of twice. So we will use Korona Survivor here to drop the difficulty 20 points. I believe that will be enough to get under the 55 threshold, and at this point it's more like dealing with enemy Korona Desperado in Korona 2. Which means it still goes fast, but it's much more regular, and it's ridiculous how much easier it is to deal with. I'll just go through this and wait for that to come up. It's going to be a little while, probably. As I recall, special rounds start at a 1 in 5 chance and increase each time you don't get one. Same with your enemy. Until one does come up. Enemy special round determination works pretty much the same way in Korona 2. Although, obviously, they completely switched how player special rounds work. The one good thing about this battle is because Dark Korona is, as always, basically a berserker kind of enemy, she's not that durable. So it doesn't drag on as long as it could. This is to be contrasted especially with the final bosses and Yuka in particular. Yuka is a tank. You know, I might go back and do those after I'm done with the play a story in Korona 2. Just to showcase those battles. They are not easy, but they're very interesting. A lot of fun, some great music. Again, I especially like Yuka's music. But for now, we'll focus on Dark Korona, see about beating this battle. As I believe I've mentioned, a lot of the music in Korona 2 is remixes of the music from Korona 1, especially in common situations, so this Release the Force, I think it's called, the Korona heroic music. This gets reused in Korona 2. There's some re-instrumentation, a little extra flourishing put on, but it's the same music, so it should sound familiar. And you could argue that there is nothing more appropriate for Korona kind of breaking out of her own mind by force and sheer determination to take on her dark side whatever it costs. Even when she's at a distinct disadvantage. Okay, here's Korona Genocide again. Yeah. Again, it's much more like enemy Korona Desperado in Korona 2. It's coming at you fast, but it's very regular. You can see what's coming ahead of time. You can predict when everything's going to hit you. There's no overlapping, there's no crazy speeds, there's no chaos there, it's just fast. And that makes it not trivial, but much easier to deal with. It's entirely manageable. That's the word I'm going for. As in Korona 2, Korona is slightly faster than most of her opponents, Playa being the exception. Again, it's not free, but it's manageable. You may also notice this is not in English. I do have a semi-complete translation patch for this, but I decided when I was doing the, both run-through and the screenshots for the summary to use the original unpatched version, and I've just left it that way, especially since that's how my saves are. If I were to apply the patch, the saves would not work because it's a scripting language where basically the saves work by storing the state of variables and also your position in the script. So switching to the translated script, the positions would all be wrong, the saves wouldn't work properly. It's just easier to use it like this. And you'll also notice that some things are in English to begin with, like the player's name, the round names, that sort of thing. It's pretty common in Japanese media to have some almost decorative English. They do usually at least try to make it mean something, especially when you have something like this, where it's people's names, round names, stuff like that. But you'll often see awkward grammar, peculiar spellings. As I recall, the danger warning that you get is spelled with D-E-N-G-E-R, which, from a Japanese perspective, with the way the phonetically is written, it makes sense. It's danger, not danger. Not that bad. But picture doing that probably 3 or 4 times through the course of the battle. Honestly, if you're trying to get through this at high difficulty to keep a high score in, pretty much your best bet is to hope you get lucky and barely see that. Unless you're a lot better at dealing with the chaotic mess of it that it is than I am. Went a little too early there. I was trying to sneak in one last initiative chip before her turn came up. Usually it works, but I went a little too soon. And there the music's doing its thing, where it doesn't loop cleanly, but... still. Of course, normally by this time, Korona would have gotten 2 or 3 special attacks, probably. And be ready for something sort of like gun blazing, but not exactly. Yeah, I'm sure that'll come up when I come back for the end bosses. But of course, one of the gimmicks with this particular battle is you have no special meter, you have no special attacks. And you have to deal with that. Or a worse version of that. Again, if you've been playing normally to this point, have done reasonably well in the battles up to this point, have not used Korona Survivor, you're almost guaranteed to see the hyper-chaotic version of Korona Genocide. Let's see, can I get an attack before her? I think so. Yep, speed bar is overtaking hers, and this should finish it out. You'll also notice Dark Korona favors the double-bladed style. She's saying she won't disappear, as long as you're here, so am I. And she's not wrong. But anyway, that is how the Dark Korona battle goes in Korona 1. So that may give you some idea of what players should be expecting for Korona 2. They've reworked Korona Genocide, but it's still very similar to that. And it's not going to be a lot of fun, but it is more manageable. It's not nearly as bad as this. At least I don't think so. In any case, this has been Arafellin, showcasing the Dark Korona battle from Magical Bringer Korona the First. Come back next time and we'll get into play of fighting her in Korona the sequel. Hope to see you then.